Squad and Gun Club is hosting this year's show as they have in the past. Let's go check it out.
I never believed in afterlife. I bought a air fryer here about 2 months ago. I lived by myself. I set it on my counter. It had a piece of tape over the door of it. Got up the next morning, that tape is gone and the door's open.
What?
And I know damn good well my wife did it.
How long were you guys married?
53 years before she passed away. She passed away 5 years ago, so 58 years. I'm still married.
Do you have any photos?
Photos
Do you have a photo
of her?
Yeah.
One.
Wow, she's beautiful.
Her name? Marilyn.
You can use a knife for a lot more. What are you going to do? You look at your gun? I don't, use it for self-defense or hunting maybe, but a knife, you cut your food with it, skin your deer or whatever. I go to quite a few shows and flea markets too. As far as Southern Oregon goes, it's probably one of the best. This one you just got to contact the show promoter.
So you're the show promoter?
Yes.
That's your title? Is this your first year or have you done it before?
Started in 2012.
What do you think of the Second Amendment? Do you have any critiques of it?
Well, it's vague is the bad thing. It says you can own a gun. Can you own a semi-auto? They didn't have a semi-auto back then. So they're kind of wording it as a firearm. You can own a firearm. And that's one thing with this background check being plugged up so bad is it's hindering your right to own a gun.
Measure 114, which passed in Oregon in 2022, would ban the manufacture, purchase, and sale of magazines capable of holding more than 10 rounds of ammunition. It would also require people to take a safety course and pass a background check to get a permit allowing them to purchase firearms.
I thought Measure 114 was temporarily blocked.
It is.
Okay.
But too many people panicked, went out and bought guns, and filled up the queue.
I see.
See, in September when we did it, the queue was about 2 weeks. But right now, it's a good 3 months.
Do you mean the queue for like a background check?
Yes.
But I thought without Measure 114, there's that 3-day rule where...
There is.
Okay.
If I know you and I know you're a good person, I could transfer that
You
to
can
you.
choose to do it.
If I don't know, I can't remember your name.
Exactly.
That I'm not going to give you a gun in 3 days because that's a good opportunity for a guy who cannot own a gun to get a gun. So most all the businesses won't do it in 3 days.
The measure eliminates the Charleston loophole, which allows a firearm sale without a background check if said check takes longer than 3 days. The Charleston loophole got its name from the 2015 church shooting. The gunman legally accessed his weapons without a background check.
I'm fine with Oregon gun laws. I don't have any problem. I have a concealed carry permit. I don't have any problems with that. I know there's a lot of discussion about that proposition, whatever it was. That really doesn't affect me, so I don't care. I'm not buying any more guns.
I try not to get too political, especially with people that I'm not, that are strangers. But I feel comfortable with you too. Measure 114, I think, it's just ridiculous because the only ones that's going to get hurt by this is us.
I know it's no good for all of us. Any gun laws are gun laws that infringe on our rights. So
There's only, Eugene, Salem, and Portland passed 114. The rest of the state, it was voted down. So rural guys want guns. City people don't.
it's just another step towards tyranny. It's just they're keeping more and more from us. Every inch we give them, they take a mile.
The measure will make a right a privilege. It's in the Constitution. Don't infringe on it.
I'm going to be buying some stuff. The Fenton's booth.
Yes.
And I'm going to buy some earrings for my grandmother and some olive picks. These are my gun show purchases.
I really don't sell guns. So this is my personal stuff that I've got, and I'm getting ready to be barbecued, okay?
Oh, wow, okay.
So, and what do I do with my ashes? Because I'm going to be cremated. My friend here got the best idea. He said to tell my brother to take my ashes and go to these old car shows and then fill all the ashtrays full of my ash.
That's a hoot.
I love it.
Sometimes when you're out on the road doing reporting, you get tired, so you got to get a coffee. Luckily, the Elks Lodge is supplying food and drink for all festival attendees, including myself. It's important to not endorse brands that you don't support or that don't support you. I don't really know. Maybe it's like a protest. Who do you think did that? Some questions go unanswered.
When I was 15, I bought them. In the old days, you could just walk into the store and buy them. Just like buying a candy bar.
I started both of my kids shooting 22s when they were 3 years old. We would sit on the back tailgate on the truck. My son, I had a little semi-auto 22. He would sit there and he would watch the empty brass coming out. And as long as he was shooting, he was watching that, he was happy. Well, then a bullet hit a weed out there and it fell over. He figured out, wow, something's coming out that end too.
I got into the military and I got very involved in military shooting, target shooting for the Army, rifle and pistol, and traveled all over the world doing that, and I kind of got the bug. Never used one against anybody, I just used it for play.
My brother and I both shot ourselves with a 22. My brother shot himself in this leg, quick drawing, and then the next year I shot myself in this knee, walking through a doorway and a hammer hit the side of the door, but it kept me out of Vietnam.
Wow.
So that was good.
I worked as a gunsmith for 40 years, and you could bring me any gun I would work on, except I would not work on this modern stuff because I don't think there's a place in the society for it.
Oh.
We don't need that kind.
What kind?
Anything that looks or acts aggressive. I don't know how to explain it, but
Sure.
it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
I would stand against anybody that tried to take it away from you, but that doesn't mean I have to work on it.
I come from a very anti-gun family.
Oh, wow.
I'm the only gun owner. My mother is very adamant about guns. She thinks of them as nothing but destruction. You see, my dad was in service. He got out. She said, no more guns in the house.
I taught safety classes at a couple colleges. I have trained young people in hunter safety for 40 years. I can't tell you how many thousands of kids I've run through these classes. So always keep the rifle or the end of the gun pointed down, not up, because if that bullet goes up, it's going to come down someplace.
We grew up there shooting, all the time. And we'd throw rocks up and shoot them,
Wow.
We didn't know the bullets come back down.
So keep it down, and keep your finger off the trigger, period.
Because every gun, as far as I'm concerned, is loaded. You don't ever muzzle sweep somebody if you're not willing to destroy what that muzzle sweeps. That means one-way ticket. I used to be a not very good person. I got involved with some not so savory characters, and I've seen some things bad happen. And it can really mess with your psyche bad if you allow it to. You can allow it to make you crazy, or you can learn from it. I learned that if I always have a way out, I'm going to make my way out. I'm going to be the good citizen, make the call, and then help if I can. I don't care who you are. It's scary to get shot at. Because it's a sound you'll never forget. Projectiles flying past you.
What kind of dogs do you have?
2 Chinese crusteds. This one's a
Even
Chinese
with
crested
357.
careless, and she's a Chinese crested chihuahua.
How'd you decide on that kind of dog?
I'm allergic.
He's allergic.
We get along good.
They're cute. And you can take them in anyways.
Whether you own a gun or a knife or none of the above, what really matters is that you own a heart and a soul. And I think that's a tune that we can all dance to.
Well, on Friday, U.S. District Judge Karin Immergut issued a 122-page opinion that upheld Measure 114 and said that both elements of the law are constitutional. It is the first comprehensive decision on Measure 114 from a federal standpoint.